Yo, brawlers, this is your man, Glass Chin, and you're watching Glass Chin's Heavyweight Boxing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yo, brawlers, head over to Mad Rush Sports, where you can buy all the latest in boxing equipment from their extensive catalogue. That's Mad Rush Sports. Follow the link in the description. First off, I just want to pay my respects to the late great marvellous Marvin Hagler. Hagler is one of my favourite fighters of all time, winning the WBC and WBA titles from Alan Minter in 1980 and being crowned the first ever IBF middleweight champion in 1983. Hagler went on to hold the title for 7 years before finally losing the WBC title to Sugar Ray Leonard. Hagler vs Tommy Hitman Hearns is in my top 5 all-time great fights. If it wasn't for the shortness of the fight, with Hagler winning by a third round stoppage, it would probably be my number 1 all-time great fight. If you haven't seen this fight, please go and watch it after this video. It is a must for any boxing fan. Now please hold your silence while we give a 10-bell salute to our fallen hero. May the champ rest in peace. Michael Vollish got another win under his belt with a 6-round stoppage over Knife Diddler this weekend. That's his second win on the bounce since his third round knockout loss to Joe Joyce last year. What's surprising is Wallish weighed in 40 pounds lighter than he did in the Joyce fight and looked in good shape. He might be a decent option for Daniel Dubois' rumoured comeback fight in May. Dubois is now back in sparring after that horrendous eye injury against Joe Joyce. He is currently training with Jimmy Tibbs as Mark Tibbs is in camp training Billy Joe Saunders for the Canelo fight. It will be interesting to see what level of opposition Frank Warren picks for Dubois, but I think he needs a little bit of confidence back, so a couple of easy punches will probably be the way forward. While we're on the subject of new trainers, Joseph Parker has hooked up with Andy Lee. In my mind, this is a great fit for Parker. Andy Lee, for me, has always been a very underrated fighter. He's a very intelligent fighter, and he breaks down fights well. He had years of experience under one of the best trainers ever in Manny Stewart. The Kronk style could really improve Parker's game. I've said it for a long time that Parker gets frustrated and smothers his own work. He's a naturally strong man, so a few tweaks and some educated pressure may all be what's needed to get those knockouts at the higher level. Parker left the Dillian Whyte fight in the judge's hands when Whyte was there for the taking. Hopefully Andy Lee is a good fit and he starts getting some good results after his lackluster performance against Junior Farr. Right, brawlers, finally after a few strange weeks of back and forth, reports are in today that the undisputed fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury has finally been signed. There was worrying signs from Fury last week, with him claiming that he had stopped training, he was on holiday, and he was drinking 12 pints a day. I raised my concerns last month about his weight ballooning, but if anything, in recent interviews, Fury looked a bit gaunt in the face. He's visibly frustrated about waiting to get back into the ring. I believe the fat pictures and the drinking comments are mind games from Fury, but I do also believe there was some truth to the claims that Fury was worried about his inactivity. Fury has already been out of the ring 13 months, and this fight still doesn't have a date or venue. Fury put his career on hold, waiting for Wilder after he activated his rematch clause, just for Wilder to then fail to agree a fight and let the contract expire back in October. ESPN then pulled Fury's tune-up fight in December, after it was reported they couldn't pay his minimum purse per fight contract due to no crowds because of the COVID situation. Since Joshua beat Pulev in December, negotiations have already took 3 months and there's still no date in sight. So I think it's fair that Fury is feeling frustrated after a year of ifs and buts. He's missed 3 years of his career for his own demons, and he just wants to fight. I've seen a lot of negative comments online in recent weeks about Fury from the toxic fanbase, saying he's ducking Joshua and he's a coward, etc. I have much love for both fighters, so I'm trying to stay impartial, but it really bothers me how much hatred Fury has been getting while we waited for him to sign the contract. Fury and Joshua were given the contracts at the same time, and Hearn admitted in interviews that Joshua was yet to sign as well. Yet it seems that all the blame seems to have fallen at Tyson Fury's feet. One thing I would like to clear up this week is the Fury versus Klitschko fight, as I've read multiple times this week how Fury is scared of Joshua and he ran during the Klitschko fight. People seem to be rewriting history, or maybe it's just Joshua's fan base who haven't actually seen the fight or have only watched it in 2015 and have now changed their mind on what happened to fit their own narrative. I've read so many times this week that Fury barely landed a punch on Vlad, and he didn't hurt him at all. It may not have been as one-sided a schooling as some of Fury's fan base might say, but Fury took Vlad's jab away and completely frustrated Vlad. Vlad was taking a beating. He was mentally and physically broken and left trying to hold Fury. With no way back in the fight and getting outclassed, Vlad stooped as low as he could and headbutted Tyson Fury in the 11th round. Both of Vlad's eyes were cut and one was swollen badly. Let's have a look at a few clips and you tell me if Tyson Fury did no damage on Wladimir Klitschko.
And here comes Tyson Fury. No, he just can't handle him, can he, Klitschko? He's never been able to handle him in this fight. He's cut over both eyes. He's getting hit with coughing shots off Fury. They're not good shots, but he's getting through with them. And what about the young lad?
Now, after watching them few clips, please tell me how Tyson Fury didn't do any damage onto Wladimir Klitschko. Look at that swollen eye. Look how broken he looked. Imagine how much worse things could have been for Vlad if Fury had used his new Kronk style of educated pressure. Imagine if Fury planted his feet and sat down on his shots like he did in the Deontay Wilder rematch. Vlad would have been in for a very, very hard night. The timing of this fight only benefits one man, and that man is Anthony Joshua. I hope any of the trolls that were saying disgusting things about Tyson Fury in the last week or two showed a man respect for signing this fight. Regardless of whose fault it is that the negotiations for this fight has been drawn out, Tyson Fury really has shown some bollocks, taking the biggest fight of his career, when by the time that the fight happens, he would have most likely been out the ring a year and a half. Whether you're a fan of his or not, anyone who's unbiased can see that isn't good preparation for an undisputed heavyweight title fight. Both men deserve our respect. They haven't hidden behind contracts and purse splits and tried to duck the fight. They've done what's right for boxing and what's right for the fans. Regardless of who you are picking to win this fight, it doesn't build any champion's legacy by dismissing their opponents and rubbishing their records. It's disgusting that armchair fans call men who put their lives on the line bums. Joshua was beat by a better man on the night in Ruiz, but he came back and avenged his loss, and he's a two-time world champion. Fury has won every belt there is in boxing. All that there is left for him to do in his career is to become undisputed. Let's not tear these two great men down. Let's build them up and build this fight up and give it the respect it deserves. This is the biggest fight in boxing right now and the biggest fight in British boxing history. So brawlers, I'm interested to see who you all think wins this fight, but we can do that in a civilised way in the comments section without slagging the two greatest fighters in the world off. I look forward to hearing everybody's thoughts. And as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.